Hey guys, welcome back to my old tractor shed. I think it was back around episode 12 or 13. I had lifted off the top of the transmission to have a look for this oil pump, and boy oh boy did we go down the rabbit hole. Well, I have full access to that oil pump now, so I may as well take it off. I've got the parts manual open. I'll insert a picture of that right now. The pump is number 1 there. It doesn't actually show in the parts manual any internal pieces, so perhaps it doesn't even come apart. I'm not sure, but I'm going to take it out and see if I can get it apart. I'm a little concerned. Again, I don't remember what episode it was, but I had taken that oil strainer, which was actually in the final drive, but feeds oil up to this pump. The screen was missing on that strainer, so I'm thinking there's a good possibility some small pieces have gone through this little pump. And by the looks of it, it's just some kind of little gear pump. I can't imagine little pieces going through a gear pump going to be a good situation. So if I can get it off, well, I'm sure I can get it off, but if I can get it off and get it apart and have a little look inside, make me feel a little better. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do today. I'm going to bring that camera in here a little closer. There's a fiber gear that's running off, big gear actually, it's right on the PTO shaft. I believe that the way this transmission is set up, that spins anytime your foot's off the clutch. Yeah. Anyway, there's a little snap ring there. I'm going to get it off and see if I can get this fiber gear off, and then we'll bring the camera around and we'll get in here on the inside. It's a little wee bit of a tight spot. Actually, it's not bad to get in. It's just a matter of whether or not I can get my paws in here and keep it out of the way of the camera. But it's just a little wee tiny snap ring on the back side of this gear. So get the snap ring plier in there, and then just take this little snap ring off. Not that difficult, really. See if that gear will... It's fiber, so I do want to be careful. I put a couple screwdrivers, a couple pry bars, playing a little wee bit with that fiber gear, and it doesn't seem like it wants to come off easy. I'm not going to force it. I'm going to go down inside the other housing here and see if I can loosen off the pump and see if maybe I can pull the pump out of the gear. I'm not breaking this. I don't want to break this. Got the other camera going, so we'll have a little look in here. So, trying to stay out of the way of that camera. These 4 bolts that are wired look to me like they hold the pump together. There's another nut in the back here with some grooves, and I'm looking very carefully for locking plates after the experience with that transmission, but I don't see any locking plate on it. We'll remove this bolt here with the copper washers and see if I can free that up. We'll see what we get. Like I say, I think these bolts that are wired, I think that just holds that together. So I'm not overly tight. No. Copper washer behind there I'll have to watch for. And I got a Ziploc bag going for these parts too. Now that there, on the other side, several videos back actually, I took off that pipe. I think this just presses in. I think in the parts thing, they show an O-ring down there. So I suspect that this, where is it? That pipe there. I think if I wiggle that, it should come out, or at least maybe I can just turn it. Yeah, it's definitely loose. See if I break that too. All right, you know what? Yeah, I need to get that out of the way. I can see, I still got a gasket on the other side, and I can see that moving. I think I'm going to get that gasket out of the way and see what I got going on over there. I'm just cleaning away this old rotten gasket, and yeah, seems to be an O-ring or something there, but looks to me like it's the gasket that's holding it. And this razor blade's not the best. There we are. Oh, it comes completely out this way. Isn't that Isn't that cool? And yeah, there's just an O-ring there. All right. That's good. We'll put that in the bag with the other parts. So I want to get that copper washer out of there now, so I don't lose that. Put that in that little bag. Now, I think I am going to try and move this nut. Yeah. Let's see what we can do with that. Try to stay out of the view of that camera, but I'm going to put I got a flat chisel and my small little hammer. I'm just going to try and tap that. And it turns very, very easily, actually. Okay, it's free. It's completely free. But now the question will be, can I get this pump to come out of that gear? I'm going to try. I've got to get a small pry bar. I'm going to get a small pry bar and go behind here, maybe 2 of them, and see if I can pull that out of the gear. But just see what happens here. Even that's too big. Even that's too big. Knocking my light down. Oh, I have another idea. I got a pry bar that's got a hook on the end. Right. I'm just going to put that nut back finger tight. I really don't want to break that fiber gear on the other side. I've said this in other videos. I tend to work along a certain way until I come up against a little wee bit of a roadblock, and then I say to myself, well, is there anything else that I can do here to maybe not do damage? Or if I'm figuring I'm going to damage something, I'm always trying to figure, well, if I break that, how am I going to fix it? Obviously, if I break that, I'm going to have to find another one. But if that fiber gear doesn't want to come off the shaft of this pump, and if I do buy another used machine for parts, who's to say that that fiber gear is going to want to come off of that pump, and I can't buy a new one. So I'm looking at these bolts with these wires back in here, and I'm thinking maybe what I'll do next is just take those wires off, take these 4 bolts off, see if I can take the face of this pump off and just have a look at the pump right here where it is. I don't need to have it on the bench. So let me move along in that direction for a few minutes, and until I come up with some kind of a problem, and we'll make a decision. Let's get rid of these wires. Dropped it down in the oil, but there's the first one. And there's our second wire. All right. Got a little swivel socket here. See what happens. I gotta tighten, the whole thing's turning. I gotta tighten that up a little bit more. Oh boy, those bolts are tight. All right, I just loosely put a C-clamp there, and it's hitting the side of the housing there, so hopefully, hopefully that'll stop this thing from turning. Okay, I got that one loose, that one loose. that one loose. Okay. I'm going to take my C-clamp out of there. All right, got my 4 bolts out. I'm just gonna see here. Okay, it's coming apart. It's actually opening up at the back here. Not exactly sure. I would expect that the fiber gear shaft comes through, and I would expect that gear is going to stay in there because that gear is probably either part of that shaft or it's attached to the end of the shaft somehow. And then there's going to be, I don't know, guys. Making this up as I go. Oh well, let's just... All right, there she comes. All right, so both gears, this gear here is just on a... I'm getting in the way of that camera. So we just got a housing. There is some wear on the end of it, which I guess is to be expected. A couple of alignment pins that go into here. This gear here goes onto that shaft. It goes to the fiber, and this gear here doesn't seem to be a heck of a lot of play. Having a real close look at these gears, there's a hole there, but that would probably just let oil into... there's a hole. Maybe I'll take a close-up. There's a hole right between there that goes through the center, but I'm certain that just gets oil in onto this. It doesn't really have a bearing. It's just a, it doesn't look like anything wrong at all. I was worried, you'd open this up and you'd find all the teeth of the gear all ground away. So there is a notch. Oh, again, okay. I was thinking that was there's one on each side. I noticed it down on this bottom gear as well, right where I don't think you can see that. There's one right there where I got the tool, and there was some in here. And I initially saw them, I thought they were timing marks of some sort, but I mean, why the hell would that be timed? That just lets oil in on this surface, that's all. There's one on each side. Okay, how many weeks has it been to get to this oil pump? All right, well, that's fine and dandy. Peace of mind, if I hadn't taken that apart and put this all back together, and then if I was having some kind of problem with the transmission, it'd be in the back of my mind. There's no teeth in those gears. That's fine. I'll reassemble this, and then I'll find some fine wire and wire that, put that back together. I don't think you need to hang around for that. Oh, just before I go, I'm just putting this back together, and very interesting. These two little dowel things that line up, this, and I suppose that makes perfect sense. This only goes on one way. You can't reverse this. I just started to put it back, and I didn't have it the right way, and it didn't want to go. I spun it over, and now it goes. And that makes perfect sense. I mean, those two gears are riding in that housing. If you had it the wrong way, whatever. Very, 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 very interesting. Almost lunchtime, almost coffee time. Okay, I'm going to end this here. Appreciate your time, guys. You know the YouTube drill. If you enjoy hanging out in the shop with me, like, subscribe, share, click a bell, leave a comment, all the usual blah, blah, blah. Apparently that all helps with the YouTube algorithms. And I certainly appreciate your time. You guys take care. And we'll see you next time in my old tractor shed. Ciao.